In the past 3 months, I've been on 4 Carnival cruises, and I've noticed a lot of changes since the last time I cruised Carnival. Some of those changes I was expecting, and some really surprised me. Today, I'm going to share with you those changes so they don't surprise you. Hello everyone, I'm Sharon from Sharonatsea Travel. My last Carnival cruise before the past 4 was on the Carnival Panorama in December of 2023. So even though I've heard that Carnival made a lot of changes, I hadn't experienced a Carnival cruise in quite a while. Over the past 3 months, I've sailed on the Elation out of Jacksonville, the Radiance out of Los Angeles, and most recently we did a side-by-side cruise on the Sunrise, followed up by the Conquest, both out of Miami. Each cruise was unique and different, but I noticed many of the same changes on each ship. The 2 biggest changes with Carnival have happened just over the past month or so, those being the opening of Celebration Key and, of course, the very unpopular decision by Carnival to do away with the loyalty program and switch to a new rewards-based program for Carnival cruisers. As far as those changes go, we have covered them both in previous videos, and I have to say, we are not a fan of either one. But I know you've been smothered with those topics, so let's move on to things we actually experienced on our cruises. First, nickel and diming. Over the years, other cruise lines have had the reputation of squeezing every penny out of their cruisers. But lately, I noticed this much more on my Carnival cruises. Here are a few examples. Be ready for spa upsell phone calls to your cabin. In the past, I might get a call or maybe a note on my cabin door reminding me of spa deals that are available. The past 2 cruises, I got multiple phone calls to my cabin each day. Even after mentioning I wasn't interested, I still got a call the next day. I also noticed that on our last cruise during the Sea Day brunch, they actually had someone going table to table selling souvenir Carnival cups right there in the middle of the brunch.
Well, here's the first. They're going through the brunch area and guys are selling Carnival souvenir cups to people while they're eating brunch. I've never seen this.
Another big change had to do with the sushi boat. Besides at the Bonsai Sushi location on the ship, every night in the main dining room, they had always advertised in the past the sushi boat. Well, now they are promoting these sushi boats all over the place. There were signs at the buffet and the Lido Deck area, and we were approached multiple times while eating at the Lido Deck venues by the crew asking us if we would be interested in a sushi boat. I'm thinking, I have a full plate of food in front of me. No, I don't want to spend an extra $32 for a sushi boat. And finally, the pizza. First, they now offer 2 special pizzas for an extra $6 each, in addition to the usual 5 or 6 styles that they have for free. Also, on the topic of pizza, they shut down the pizza place about 11 p.m. each night instead of it being open 24 hours now. And they are offering a midnight buffet, which may be okay after a night of drinking and dancing, but the consensus is it's quite underwhelming. While we're on the topic of food, here are a few more changes. First, ice cream. I always love getting a cone or a cup of ice cream or frozen yogurt either after dinner or late in the evening. There are multiple self-serve ice cream machines on the Lido Deck. Well, now all of those ice cream machines seem to be shut down early, with the exception of one that stays open a little later, usually in the back of the buffet. Well, with just one open and how popular it is, it's either super busy, a total mess, or simply out of cones and oftentimes out of ice cream. Finally, guys, burgers. Once a highlight of a quick meal on the Lido Deck, these past 4 cruises, I found the burgers to be incredibly disappointing. Different buns every time, burgers pre-cooked and dried out, and the fries were always different and not in a good way. I used to love getting on the ship and having a guy's ringer burger, but now I find myself looking for other options. Other changes I noticed, they continue to cut back on staff, especially with the cabin stewards. We used to be able to really interact with the cabin stewards, seeing them often and always chatting with them. And now, don't get me wrong, they are always working hard and being friendly, but we rarely see them. These poor folks are just being worked to death. On our recent cruise, our cabin steward told us he had 29 cabins he was in charge of. Oh my gosh, 29 cabins, and all he got was a little bit of help with vacuuming during the day. This is crazy, but I guess this makes sense because another change that has happened over time is guests that have priority boarding no longer have their cabin ready when they get on the ship. In the past, you could board the ship and go right to your cabin, but those days are gone. Now, you are allowed to drop off your bags, your carry-ons if you have priority boarding, but then you have to leave and come back at 1:30, just like everyone else. I mean, it's nice to be able to drop off your bag or backpacks, but it's just not the way it used to be. Plus, with all the work that these cabin stewards have to do, what are the chances that inevitably they cut corners and don't follow all the proper cleaning procedures? Maybe that's why we found a dirty sock in our closet on our last cruise. There have been big changes in safety and security as well. We've all seen the videos of the drug-sniffing dogs and unfortunately all the fights, but we have really noticed an increase in security guards. They were all over the place, including one even stationed on the Lido deck looking down to the atrium all the time. And one way it's good to see, but in the past the security guards were kind of behind the scenes and just ready to help if needed. Now they are just out and about everywhere, and it's almost a little concerning. Like, it kind of makes you just wait for something to happen. The funny thing is, even with all of the added security, there are still fights, and even with the dogs, we still smelled marijuana multiple times on every cruise. The most recent one on the Conquest, we had a warped balcony door that did not close flush all the way, so when our neighbors lit up on their balcony every morning and evening, our cabin stunk. Another change that has begun is a change in the music being played, especially in the nightclubs later in the evening. Instead of a constant dose of hip-hop, they have started having theme nights in the nightclub, including a country night, and I recall a Latin night and other dance music as well. But they are definitely changing the music choices to get away from always having what some people consider more controversial type of music. Now, I wish I could say that some of these changes were for the better, but I'm not sure I can. Maybe mixing up the nightclub music is good, but we rarely go to the nightclub, so it doesn't really impact us much. Some of these were just observations, and some of these things you might want to be aware of. And as I mentioned Celebration Key earlier, if you are looking for more information on Carnival's new private destination, we do have a couple other videos out. One is a full tour of the destination, as well as our honest review. I know it probably sounds like I'm just out to bash Carnival, but I just wanted to mention a few changes that we noticed recently on our Carnival cruises. Sometimes knowing about the changes ahead of time just helps it so it doesn't impact your cruise experience negatively. Will these changes cause us not to cruise on Carnival? Well, we have 2 Carnival cruises coming up in the next few months, so we will see how things work out. Carnival still continues to be one of the most requested cruise lines I book for my clients, and I don't see that changing anytime soon. Let us know in the comments below if you have experienced any recent changes on Carnival, whether it's good or bad. We love hearing all the feedback. If you're new here to the channel, please consider subscribing so you don't miss out on any new content. And give us a thumbs up on your way out. Thanks for watching, and we will see you in the next video.